Southeast Missouri. That's a game, too, that we've been, first game of the season for us. So naturally, we've been anticipating this for a long time. And now that we're finally here in game week, we got a lot of work to do, a lot of preparation to take care of. And I think everything starts with evaluating last year's performance with Southeast Missouri. And the bottom line there, and this will be my message to the team, they flat out beat us last year. It was one of those things. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't something that we should have won, because if you look at the statistics, they beat us in yardage, they beat us in the turnover battle, they beat us in the third down category, they beat us in the explosives. They also beat us in the fourth quarter, and that's the one thing that's probably the most disturbing, is that we just got out executed in the fourth quarter, and they also came in here and beat us in our stadium. So that's what we're facing. That's what we're preparing for, and that's the reality of the challenge. And again, I'll present this to the team in our team meeting later on today. But if you look at those statistics, there's nothing in there that indicates that we should have won that game last year. They beat us when it mattered most, which was in the fourth quarter. And you go into those fourth quarter statistics, that's where you really see a major difference in performance. So with that, that's something that we need to focus on this week, making sure that we can maintain a consistent game plan, focus on the details that go into a game plan, and make sure that we stay sharp in our execution throughout the game plan. And when you look at Southeast Missouri this year, it's always a challenge to play anybody the first game of the year, because you don't have any film. The only film you have is from the previous year. You're trying to make some guesses, educated guesses, as far as what they'll do and who will play what positions. But the things that we know for sure, they do return several key players in their offense and their defense that played a significant role in their success last year. And that's the one thing. They are a 9-3 football team coming off of last season. We're a 5-6 football team coming off of last season. So, again, the challenge is there. They had a good year recruiting. We feel that they brought in some players. They did lose a few people on the offensive and defensive side, but from what we can tell with the people they brought into the program, they do have good personnel that are ready to fill in the voids of the graduations that they lost. They're well coached. Anytime you play an offensive option football team, that's a challenge in itself. Plus, they've been running this offense for many years. If you look at all their coaches, just about every one of them has a Nebraska background, and not only did they play in this type of offensive system, they've also coached in this offensive system for many years. And then same thing defensively. They run a very similar defensive package to what Nebraska does with their 4-3 concept, and they know what they're doing. So a very well-coached football team. And plus, they got momentum. We know we're going into a full house. We know that it's going to be a hostile environment. Their fans are going to be out in force. They feel they got momentum on their side. They won a lot of close games last year, and I think that's always a key indicator for any program turning the corner when you can win those close games. They won 4 games by a total of 7 or less points. There's 3 games where they won by between 2 and 3 points. So they found a way to win those close games last year. So that's another indicator that the program has taken a big step forward. So that's our challenge. Like I said, it's exciting to be here looking at that first game. I'm glad we got Southeast Missouri as our first game that we're playing. I'm looking forward to the challenge of going to their place to play them. But at the same time, I'm very realistic. It's going to be a challenge. We're going to have our top game ready to go right off the get-go to be able to have some success at their stadium. So With all that being said, are there any questions you have as far as Southeast Missouri or anything about our end?
Coach, they lost their tailback that had a tremendous year, and 3 offensive linemen. They have the quarterback back and their top receiver. Do you guess they're going to rely more on their passing game this year, or are you sticking with the run first?
Well, again, they're an option football. They had their last scrimmage they threw a total of 9 passes in the entire scrimmage. They're going to run the ball. They got some good running backs in. They got a transfer out of Nebraska Omaha that's very talented, and he's listed at number 3 on the depth chart. They're going to have some very talented weapons that they can utilize out of the backfield. Plus, they do have the throwing threat. Their big receiver gave us problems last year, made some big catches against us. Their quarterback makes good decisions. He does have a strong arm, can throw with accuracy. So, he's the key, I think, to their offense. When he's playing well, they're a very difficult offense to defend.
Coach, this is a rivalry you guys have dominated in the past. If you feel like in the past year it's kind of been reinvigorated, so to say?
Well, I would even question that word dominated. I don't know where that would come from. We won in 2009, and even that was a battle. Prior to that, correct me, Mike, if I was wrong, but there was a series that they had the upper hand of 3 wins in a row when 99, 2000, 2001. Yeah, and then they took a hiatus from playing. Dominated, I don't know if is the right word for recent history. And again, they came in, and what they did last year at our place was pretty impressive. And because of that, I don't know who has the upper hand here, but, I think, like I said, we're coming off a 5-6 season. They're coming off a 9-3 season.
Coach, the quarterback went through 3 picks all year last year. How much better do you feel about your team's ability to put some pressure on the quarterback this time?
Well, again, this isn't a normal passing team. Everything they do is based off of play action. So it's not one of those where you can go in necessarily with the idea we're going to get 3 interceptions on the course of the game. Now, you do want to bring pressure. You do want to force them into making some decisions that could hurt them. But, again, because of this style of offense, it's different than a spread offense or even a pro-style offense where you can pin your ears back and just turn it loose. You've got to be very assignment sharp in everything you do, and that's why it's a very stressful defense or a challenge for our defense to defend.
Do you feel like your safety is your cornerbacks going to have to be up playing the run a whole lot more than scoring on the pass?
Well, our safeties are pretty active in the run, so that's something that, but you got to be sharp in your reads. With the play action out of an option football team, a lot of times they'll get big plays off of the pass because you're a little too aggressive in your run support, and, that's where the checks and balances have to be taught up to a level where you just don't make many mistakes during the game.
You expect to see FC a lot of number on the defensive side. Is it a matter of keeping it fresh, or just the confidence in your depth?
Well, it's the way we play defense. We like keeping the fresh horses in there, bringing people in and out at all times. Especially, you want to be strong in the fourth quarter, and that's something that we're going to emphasize this week. Is we got to win the fourth quarter. It's going to get hot later on in the week. I saw one forecast had Thursday about 98 degrees. So, you need numbers to be able to play if it is that type of temperatures that we're playing in.
Do you like the idea of starting the season on the road?
I do. You can twist it any way you want to, but, I like the challenge of it. We need to come together as a football team, and you don't have the luxury of playing a team that you should beat. This is a team that's going to challenge everything about us, so that's what we got to be prepared for.
How much of the message to the team, you mentioned you're going to show them the fourth quarter stats, but how much of the message is going to involve last year's game and being that a lot of the guys were here for that loss?
Well, they've lived through it, so it's something that's fresh in their memory. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm going to set the tone here today, and then hopefully we build off of that through the week. So by the end of the week, all we're focusing on is us and what we need to do to be successful, and but at the same time, we know what's at stake.
You feel like a lot of our fans are going to travel?
Excuse me?
You feel like a lot of our fans are going to travel?
Oh, I would think so. It's an exciting game. It's going to be, this is what you want in a rivalry type setting. We're 45 miles away. Last year, they took advantage of it, and they had a police escort all the way home to Cape Girardeau because they had won the football game. So, and then I think they set fan attendance records at their home games last year. They were over 8,000 average per game. So it's if it's not a rivalry type thing, it definitely should be.
Is there a particular area defensively you think they're more vulnerable?
Area defensively?
Yeah, with them that you guys can exploit?
Well, they have a lot of players returning. We look at who played last year, and even though they have some starters that are gone in the secondary and the linebacker core, most of those people played in a rotation. So there's experience with their linebackers, with their secondary. The tough thing to evaluate is just how good they are up front. They do have a couple players that played in last year's game, but there's some new transfers in that you're not quite sure of what they're capable of doing. So, that's kind of the give and take that happens in that first quarter, as you're just trying to figure out what you can and cannot do. And so that's why you go in with several options that you may have to go to during the course of a game.
A couple of areas you think that will decide the game on Saturday, what would it be?
Well, that part, what we've been talking about, consistency is going to be, a major factor for us. There's last year's game, there's times we looked good. We looked real good. But then there was times where we just didn't show up there, So we need to play a consistent football game from start to finish. I think the third down conversion is something that will play big for us. We got to make sure that we keep our offense out there on the field as long as we can, and make sure our defense does a good job getting the ball back to the offense. So I would say the third down conversions are going to be big. Explosive plays, that's been another emphasis for us, both offensively and defensively. Limit the number of explosive plays against us, and we need to have the big play threat on our offensive side. So those are things we've been preaching all fall, and this is something that will determine how good a football team we are.
Do you feel like you have a real grasp of the team identity already, Dale, or do you think you need to see them play, and learn a little bit more of that?
You never know who you are until you're in the battle. I like the attitude. I like the feel. I like, everything. I think we've put ourselves in place now. We just need to be tested. We need to see who we are in a game and how we react and how we respond. There's only one way to find that out, and that's to play the game.
You feel like this is the toughest game of the year because you don't really know as a coach. You think you know, but you get out there and shoot them up for the first time, start hitting for the first time.
It's the toughest game of the year because it's the one in front of us. So, that's kind of the mentality you have, and I think they get even more challenging with each game. But, this one you just don't know as much. You're walking through a dark room. You think you know where things are, but every now and then you're going to stub your toe. That's the challenge of a first game.
We just need to perform well on all aspects of the offense, running the ball, passing the ball, just no turnovers, and if we can do that, then we can hopefully be successful.
How do you feel finally having the backing of the coaching staff at being number one?
It didn't matter if I had any backing or anything. Whoever they put out there is the guy that you got to go out and perform every day if you're on the field or off the field. So, you just got to go out and put your best foot forward.
The better that it's you that they're picking?
Yeah.
Just some general thoughts on SEMO.
They're a really good team. Last memory I have them is them walking off our field with a victory. So we got to come out and try to get another victory back. Nobody likes the last memory of another team being the loser. So.
Paul, I'm sorry I've been asked, but they challenge you to work on your progressions in the spring and the fall. How do you feel you've gone with that so far?
I think I've gotten better, but I think there's still a lot of room for improvement. You can always get better each day, so each day in practice, you just try to go out and get better at it.
How would you describe the identity of the team? Are you still kind of waiting to see what they're going to be like too?
Hopefully our team can be a physical team. We're very experienced on the offensive line. We got a bunch of good running backs and good fullbacks back there. So hopefully we can be a run-dominant team, and that can open up the other aspects of the offense.
What about the guys you're throwing to?
We got some talent out there. We got some speed this year with Cam, John, L.A., and then even at tight end we got CJ and Michael. And I mean, we just have a lot of talent out there, and hopefully we can utilize that.
Thank you.
What do you want? What are you personally trying to accomplish this game?
For me, it's just kind of a knock the rust off game. I haven't hit anybody from another team in a calendar year, and so I'm excited to get out there and move around and be with my teammates again. And really, I'm just excited to start this thing off again.
Yeah. Everyone had talked about today. SEMO kind of got you guys last year. How important is it for you and the rest of the team to kind of get back at them?
Yeah, I think it's important to get off on the right foot. For us, we need to win as many games as we can, and for us, this is just the next game. And so we're excited to get out there, and we really need to, start the season off on the right foot, and this is going to be a challenge for us. They, like Coach said, they were 9-3 last year, and we were 5-6, and so I feel like we've got something to prove this year going to their place.
How tough is it having a season-ending injury to not think about those type of things whenever you play?
It's tough. I think spring ball really helped clear that up for me. I was able to go through spring ball about 95 to 100%, and that really gave me a lot of confidence on it. I think it's back, it's 100%, and I'm able to just play without thinking about it.
Well, they have their quarterback returning and a lot of offensive players coming back. Is there anything in particular you guys are working on defense to prepare for their offensive setup?
I think defensively we have to stop the run because that quarterback's a guy. He's a vet and he can beat you. And so for us, we got to stop the run on first and second down and get them to throw the ball deep downfield. Last year they didn't really test us that much downfield. It was a lot of third and short, second and short, and that's not what we want to be in as a defense. And so for us, we got to stop the run and make them throw deep so that we can really blitz and pin our ears back and get after that quarterback.
How do you think you guys go about doing that?
For us, I think we gotta consistently stop the run. They're going to try to do a lot of stuff, a lot of formations. They spread us out to try to run it, and so we got to be consistent with our tackling, and we got to be 100% on our assignments this week. I think that's going to be the big difference. Is if we're in the right spot, being able to make that play.